Good evening, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the final Sports Beat episode of the year. I'm your host, Dylan Barrett, and we have an exciting show for you tonight. We start with the top stories of the NBA playoffs, and then from there we'll go from one postseason to the next, as we will then turn our attention to an update on NHL playoff hockey. We will then be joined by Ice Club Hockey President Nick Aloisio for a live in-studio interview, and then sticking with the blue and gold, we will discuss what is roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics, followed by your Pride Weekly update, and then finally the Pride Top 5. Rounding out the show, we'll have a special look into a spike ball tournament involving our graduating e-board, and then we will crown our final athlete of the month until the fall semester. Don't go anywhere because Sports Beat starts right now. You know, the NBA playoffs are now up and running, and here to break it down with me are Mike Palumbo and Jake Epstein. Fellas, round one is just getting started. We've already had a lot of great action to get started. What has been your biggest takeaways so far in the early action?
My biggest takeaway is that this Warriors-Rockets game has not been your average 7-2 seed. The Warriors have been on an absolute tear since they acquired Jimmy Butler. They've been 20-5, and I think that they've got a great chance of making a deep run in this playoffs.
For me, it's got to be the Lakers. They show they still have some juice left in the tank and can make a deep run in this playoff. Luka Doncic and LeBron James have been absolute units carrying this team. They have combined for 108 points of the team's total 189 points in the two games. It's been absolute madness for the Los Angeles Lakers. And Anthony Edwards on the other side for the Timberwolves has been amazing, but it doesn't matter. Anthony Edwards, Shepherds, and even Leopards, Lakers in 5.
You know, both great choices there, fellas, but I want to stay in the Western Conference. The OKC Thunder came out with 68 wins this year and have looked unstoppable in their series against the Grizzlies. Is OKC a serious title contender?
They're a contender. I don't know if I'd say serious contender. I think they're as good a team as any in the Western Conference. Listen, they've got 68 wins, but we've had teams win more games and not win the NBA Finals. Listen, there's teams like the Warriors. With Jimmy Butler, they didn't have him the whole season. Lakers obviously did not have Luka the entire season. The Lakers have won 19 games since they've got Luka. They're a much better team. I think that the Warriors have a great shot at beating the Thunder. I think the Lakers have a great shot at beating the Thunder. Well, listen, SGA, definitely the MVP, but there's been teams with more wins that have not won the NBA Finals.
I don't know what you've been watching this entire NBA season if you do not think the OKC are a serious title contender. You do not win 68 games without being a serious team. This team finished top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating, and the last 5 teams to do that in the NBA have gone on to win the NBA Finals. So are the OKC a serious contender? Yes, not only are they a serious contender, but I feel like they're a lot to make the finals. SGA, MVP candidate, Chet Holmgren, great on defense and offense. This team is going to go far.
Boys, those are some great picks there, but I want to now move to the Eastern Conference. The New York Knicks have been a team that everyone has talked about this year, and have been a little bit of a rocky start so far against the Pistons, 1-1. A lot of people were saying this is the year they had to get past the second round, and I got to know, is this the year of the New York Knicks make it past the second round into the Eastern Conference Finals or possibly farther?
100%. Listen, if Mikal Bridges made that shot, he could have tied the game. You never know what happens in overtime in Madison Square Garden. What does Mikal Bridges in the clutch and a nerd on prom night have in common? They can't score. So you know what? The Knicks have to find a better option, and I think that better option is Jalen Brunson. With the fate of the universe on the line, I need Jalen Brunson to have the ball in his hand and have the confidence to shoot the ball and to bring his team to the promised land. It's been 52 years since the New York Knicks won a championship. The last time the Knicks won a championship, Nixon was still the president. We still had choppers in Vietnam. Saturday Night Live did not exist. These are all, any two of us at our ages together, we were still not alive 52 years ago. But this is the time the Knicks will finally make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Jake, I believe you have the rose-colored glasses on. As long as I've been alive, I've never known a Knicks fan to be happy, and that's going to continue until we have robot presidents in this country. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Not only do they not make it to the next round, I don't think they make it out of this round. In this game, the Knicks have played outside themselves. You talk about Jalen Brunson, but he's been He hasn't been the same player. He scored, yes, but he hasn't been giving his team the same amount of touches. He's only in that game 2 where Karl Anthony Towns was shut down the entire second half. He only passed the ball to him 2 times. And even then, Karl Anthony Towns has not been a dominant presence on the boards that he needed to be for the Knicks to come back into these series. They've played from behind, and the Pistons have absolutely been dominating in the paint. The Pistons have shot the most free throws by any team in the playoffs so far. They have 54, and they've been dominating the Knicks on the glass, out-rebounding them 85-70. And Cade Cunningham has just been an absolute problem. They have no answer for him, and so I don't see the Knicks beating the Pistons.
Well, boys, I think those are some great points about the Knicks, but I know we're still very early in this first round of action. Who is going to come out with the Larry O'Brien championship when we're all wrapped up and settled?
Let's hear it, Palumbo. Let's see it.
Well, this is going to be nobody's going to like me for this, but it's got to be that mean green team from New England, the Boston Celtics. They're the only other team in the NBA that finished top 5 in offensive and defensive rating. They're going to win back-to-back, and they're going to start a dynasty there in Boston.
Mr. Epstein?
I think Mike Palumbo has started a job at Krispy Kreme because he just poured glaze everywhere in this room. I think that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win the NBA championship this year, and that they are going to go and thank the Dallas Mavericks. And they're going to thank Nico so much, and they're going to thank Mark Cuban for selling the team because they gave away one of the greatest players in the league.
Well, great points, boys, but that will do it for the NBA as we now go from the court to the ice as Dallas Jackson has everything you need to know about the NHL playoffs.
What's up, Sports Beat fans? My name is Dallas, and I will be taking you through the NHL playoffs as we recap what has been going on so far. Starting off, we're going to look at what the team's going into the quest for hockey immortality, and it's in the East. It's a battle of David versus Goliath between the Eastern Conference favorite Capitals and the second youngest team in the league, the Montreal Canadiens. Alex Ovechkin leads the way for the Washington in their quest for this franchise's second Stanley Cup. On the other side, the Habs hope to shock the world and pull off one of the biggest upsets in recent memory. The reigning Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers look to become the first team to win back-to-back championships since their first-round opponent, the Tampa Bay Lightning. In the Battle of Florida, Matthew Tkachuk has returned to the Cats lineup for the first time since February, but the Bolts have been here before, and veteran Nikita Kucherov leads his team with 121 points. These two teams have Stanley Cup winning rosters, but one of them has to go home early. To the west, the Winnipeg Jets won their first President's Trophy in franchise history and look to translate their regular season success to the postseason as they take on the St. Louis Blues. Vezina Trophy favorite Connor Hellebuck mans the net for the Jets, but the Blues look to take advantage of his shaky playoff track record. And finally, the Avalanche look for retribution against the Stars. Dallas bounced Colorado in the second round last year and acquired longtime Avs winger Mikko Rantanen, who won the Stanley Cup with the Avalanche in 2022. These playoffs are shaping up to be unforgettable yet again. With your NHL playoff update, I'm Dallas Jackson.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. I'm Jason White. The club ice hockey team season is in the books. Joining me now is the president of the team, Nick Aloisio.
Cox spinning, looking towards the net. Yerks is there. He scores! This is what we were talking left. Now we'll pull the puck back. Tries to get it in the middle.
His body in front of it, Aloisio. Penalty over. And an on-man rush here. Van Aaron just times it up. Pass across, they score!
Well, Nick, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. President of the club ice hockey team. Sounds like an ambitious undertaking. Tell me about just what that's like being president.
So what I have to do is I have to make sure everybody pays to be on the team. I have to make sure the rink is up and running. I have to make sure we have enough coaches in order to coach the team.
And so with it being a club team, usually are you driving most of the fellas to and from practice?
Well, it depends on who usually lives on campus, who doesn't have a car, but mostly we all live on Long Island, so we all be able to go to the rinks.
And if I'm not mistaken, you guys have a pretty late practice schedule, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So what's your usual practice day like?
So usually on Mondays and Wednesdays, we'll have to go to class. After that, from 9:40 all the way to 4 o'clock. Then after that, do homework, eat dinner, and then 10:30 is when our practice starts on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Is it tough to juggle all that?
Sometimes, but you get used to it after doing it for almost 4 years. So for the new guys, it gets a little hectic, but you'll get used to it.
So let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about what got you into hockey and how old were you when you first laced up the skates?
So my father got me into hockey. He played when he was younger, from when he was like 10 till 35. He broke, I think, a couple of knees, and he had to lace them up a little bit, and then that got me into hockey. I fell in love with it ever since.
And how old were you at that point?
5.
5. Wow, so a long time. Now, before you came to Hofstra, did you know that you were going to be on the club team?
At first, I didn't. I spoke to a man named Vincent Cacciatore, who's now the coach of Farmingdale Ice Hockey. He reached out to me saying, I heard you're looking into Hofstra. Come on down to a practice, and we'll see how you do.
Now, is there one major that there's particularly a higher amount of on the team, or is it just a wide badge?
Just a wide badge, pretty much.
Yeah, so with those guys, you're able to go on some road trips. Tell me a little bit about some of those fun experiences from this past season.
So this past season, we went to Lake Placid. There was a tournament styled. So we played against different schools from upstate. Another trip we went to was in Florida. We just played against regular schools, just not as a tournament style though. So all fun stuff.
What do you think's the hardest part of being on the team?
Probably the time. Just so much time, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, always hockey. I love it though, so can't complain about it.
Now this season, what would you say your favorite goal was?
Our favorite goal?
That's a tough one on the spot.
Oh, just a little bit, but it's okay. Probably overtime against, I think it was Stony Brook, pretty much. It was
Yeah, hit a top shelf?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with this team, obviously, it takes a lot for everybody to come together and to be able to make it work. So from top to bottom, it seems like it's all hands on deck, right?
Yes, it is correct.
And one final question here. What was your favorite memory of the entire season?
Probably just going away with the guys, just to get to know them more, going on the coach buses all the time, just talking, just hanging out with everybody.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Nick. Now, we are going to be back following this break on Sports Beat, so make sure to stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to Sports Beat, folks. Joining me once again are Mike Palumbo and Jake Epstein to break down what is roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics. Now, gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit about men's lacrosse. They're currently having their best season since the 2021 year, where they just came up short in CAA championship gold. Now, I got to know, is this going to be the year that Hofstra brings home CAA championship gold in men's lacrosse? Let's start with you, Mike.
From me, Mr. Barrett, that it is a resounding roar and a resounding yes. I do not care about the defending CAA champs, the Towson Tigers. Long Island is the... Hofstra's going to bring one home.
Mr. Epstein?
I want to agree with him. There's 25 days till graduation. I'm a little nervous I'm going to lose my scholarship here, but listen, CAA reigning champs, Towson. They're 16th in the nation. They're 6-0 against the CAA, dominant 5-2 against their opponents when they host. and they're going to be hosting. Towson's going to be hosting all the CAA playoffs at home. So it's going to be really tough. You're going to see Hofstra play Towson this Sunday, so you might get a little bit of a preview. They might be able to scout them a little bit. But Towson, reigning champs, 16th in the nation, they're going to be a really tough team to beat.
Well, I think you make some great points there, fellas. Thank you for joining me to discuss what's the latest in Hofstra sports. Now, sticking with the home team, Kenny Foreman is here with your Pride Weekly Update.
Hello, Sports Beat fans. I'm Kenny Foreman. Spring sports are alive and well as we start with lacrosse. The men's team will play their season finale at Schuert Stadium against the 16th ranked team in the nation, Towson Tigers. However, the Pride are coming off of a dominant 27-4 win against Hampton and sit in third place in the conference. After this game, Hofstra begins their quest for their first CAA title since 2008 on May 1st. Start time against Towson is this Saturday at 4. The women's team will play in the second game of a Schuert Stadium doubleheader as they welcome the 20th team in the nation, the Stony Brook Seawolves. Hofstra is coming off of an electric 15-14 win against Monmouth. However, the Seawolves are winners of 3 straight and are 7-0 in conference play, with the 1 seed locked up in the CAA. Start time is scheduled this Saturday at 7 p.m. Swinging it to the diamond, the baseball team fell to NJIT earlier today. They'll hit the road to open a 3-game set this Friday in Delaware and have their hands full as the Blue Hens are winners of 4 straight. First pitch at Delaware is set for this Friday at 6:30 from Bob Hanna Stadium. Finally, the softball team is back in the win column following a 3-1 victory over St. John's. The ladies stay on the road this weekend taking on the Stony Brook Seawolves, who hold an impressive 15-6 record in conference play. First pitch at Stony Brook is this Friday at 2 p.m. For more information on live streams, schedules, and more, visit GoHofstra.com.
Welcome back, Hofstra fans. You know exactly what time it is. It is time for the Pride Top 5. So let's not waste any time as we get into it for the final time this semester. Let's look at those plays, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off with play number 5 here, looking at men's lacrosse here. You think it's going to be a beatdown right here from Hofstra? And that's exactly right. As boom, right there, Anthony Labor from behind the net, blasts past the defender and buries it inside. Folks, that's a speed Usain Bolt would be proud of, as Labor just absolutely carves up the defense there. Look at this, jukes right past the defender, sneaks right past him, cuts back left, and bang, sends her right into the net. The Pride would go on to win that game 27-4, but now it's time to switch over to the diamond for play number 4. Softball against Charleston. Charleston's gonna hit it right to the right, but it's gonna be a throw run to the outside. Bang! Dahlia Palacio with the throw out at home. You do not run on Dahlia, folks. Look at this perfect fielding there in right field. She puts it right on the money just when Charleston thinks they're going to have a run scored. It's in fact the inning-ending out. And as Hofstra would go on to lose that game 2-0 against Charleston. Now time for play number 3. Nikki Manila, the sensation herself, goes through all the defenders. Bang! Nikki finds net, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot stop this woman. She has been an absolute unit for the Hofstra Pride this year and just buried her 60th goal on the season with that one. Just goes right over all the defenders. Doesn't matter how many more, Nikki's going to score. And that would give Hofstra the win as they would win 15-14 versus the Monmouth Hawks. Now it's time for game play number 2 as we're going to go to Stony Brook here at Hofstra. And we're here. Look at this. It's going to get down, you think? No. Don Camera. He saves it. He extends. Full play right there. You cannot stop getting this play down. You'd think this is from the majors, but no. In fact, this is right here at Hofstra as Camera lays out for it, full extension to get that out there. Play number 1 now. This is a blink and you miss it plays. Bang! Anthony Malacha just sends it to Blake Cooling for the goal. Drexel had no clue what hit him. I don't know what hit me. Just absolute lightning flash right there for a goal. As we're so nice, we have to slow it down so you can see it twice. Malacha to Blake for the easy goal, just right past the Drexel goalie right there. Sadly, Hofstra would go on to fall to the Dragons 14-6, but honestly, I've seen so many Pride Top 5s that it might be one of the best plays I've seen all year, folks. It's genuinely just something you cannot teach. And that will do it for the final time this year for the Pride Top 5. Don't go anywhere because SportsBeat will be right back following these short messages.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. Think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking.
reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Well, welcome back to Sports Beat. Folks, the members of our e-board aren't exactly the athletes we usually have on the show, but now and then we do like to try and be a little bit athletic. So recently we held a spike ball tournament between all the graduating seniors. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, I'm Joe Pergola, and the Sports Beat crew is here for an amazing match of spike ball. Now, you know we had to do something special for the last episode of the semester, so we've got 4 teams. We've got talent versus e-board. And now as a talent and the e-board member, I'm a little torn, so let's see who's gonna move on.
All right, you're safe.
What's the score?
You're the ref. It's 1-1.
That's 3-1. Spread like a Ryan Moore.
That's a point for Team Sports Beat. It's 2-2. And that's another point for Team Sports Beat. And that's off Russ's fingertips as a point for Team Talent. Team Talent is moving on!
Oh, whoa!
Let's go, baby. Let's go. And that's off the rim.
I haven't even gotten to touch the ball yet.
Are we about to see a shutout? Oh my.
Yes, I think I said.
And just not feeling it today.
Speedball Paul.
Yeah! Okay.
That's off the rim. Part 2. Are we seeing a comeback? Oh, dang it, I hit it twice. Fudge. All right, folks, and the final round is about to be underway. We've got Antonio and Nate representing the talent against Jason and Ellie playing for the e-board. Who will be the Sports Beat Spikeball champion? Here we go!
Where's Joe? Joe, you're the ref.
Oh, yeah, right here, people. That's another point for Team Talent, folks.
Absolutely blind. I'm gonna need to buy you LASIK.
And that's gonna be another Team e-board comeback.
That's pocket.
Oh, wait.
I'm good. No, I'm good.
What am I doing? That's another point for Team Talent.
All right, big win today, guys. How do you feel?
This is kind of like the ultimate feeling, I think, in the entirety of the universe. When you think of absolute peace with oneself, this is that.
The only thing I can compare this to is when you open up one of the Starburst package and it's 2 pinks. Like, that's probably maybe better than this.
Thank you all who participated and helped put on that sheer display of athleticism. Now we welcome back Mike Palumbo and Jake Epstein for the final time tonight to crown our Athlete of the Month. Tell me, who is it, gentlemen?
I have Anna Butler from softball. She's sporting a .473 batting average in the month of April. It's got to be her.
Impressive by Butler, but I'm going to go Nikki Minella. 11 hat tricks on the season. In that game that they just had on Sunday against Monmouth, it was a 15-14 game. She had the game winner. She's been the CAA's Athlete of the Week 5 times, and it's about dang time she's Sports Beat's Athlete of the Month.
I think you both make some great points. I think it's time we give Nikki Minella her flowers here on Sports Beat. It's about time. So thank you again to Mike and Jake for crowning our Athlete of the Month. Well, another year of Sports Beat has come and gone, and we'd like to take this time to thank all of the graduating seniors who have helped make Sports Beat so special over the years. And thank you again to all of our seniors. That will do it for our final Sports Beat of the year, and we have plenty of thanks to go around. Mike Palumbo and Jake Epstein took you through the NBA playoffs, brought you what was roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics, and crowned your final Athlete of the Month. Dallas Jackson gave you the latest in the NHL playoffs, and Kenny Foreman did the same for the Pride. We thank the president of Club Ice Hockey, Nick Aloisio, for joining Jason White for a live in-studio interview. And thank you to all who involved with our Spike Ball production. And finally, we'd like to take this time to highlight all of the seniors who will be graduating this year, starting with our amazing package producer, Jason White, who also conducted our live in-studio interview tonight. We thank our graphics coordinator, the one and only Joe Pergola, and our outstanding production manager, Eliana Dow, and my 2 fellow producers, Molly Magushchak, and who was our technical director tonight, and Russell Strachan, who was directing behind the camera. I have been your host and producer, Dylan Barrett. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember to always roar with pride.